Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program is rated for all audiences.
Hash Eggs and Football is sponsored by CrookedRiverRadio.com. Crooked River Radio is an internet radio station that is live 24/7 playing top 40 hits from the 60s through the 80s. You can find us on Live 365, Simple Radio, Roku, Radio Garden, and even Alexa, as well as our website. Come on and join us on the Crooked River.
Welcome to Hash, Eggs, and Football, where we talk about this week's games as Monday morning armchair quarterbacks. Here's your hosts Erik, Nannarone, and Pat Morrow.
Hello and welcome to Hash, Eggs, and Football. I'm Erik.
And I'm Pat.
Today, we are going to recap the Ohio State game, because I already forget who they played. That's a great start. Nebraska. Or no, it was Purdue.
Purdue.
Ohio State, right. Purdue.
Sorry.
And then the Browns, we're also going to recap the Browns game.
Who did they
Browns
play?
And Patriots. Oh, yeah. I actually did almost forget who
did the Patriots play? It sure as hell wasn't any team I know.
Yeah, exactly. But, so let's start with Ohio State. I have an issue with how many points they gave up. I know they scored 50-something, but if they want to make the playoff, which the chances of them doing that anyway are slim to none, even though they're fourth ranked.
I wouldn't say that.
I think that giving up 31 to Purdue, even though a lot of it was in garbage time, it's still 31 points.
That was a style points game.
Yeah, style points. And you don't get style points giving up 31 points. That's why I think, like we were talking about before the show.
As long as they beat them by 21. As long as they beat them by 21, that's all that really matters.
No, well, yeah, that's what Vegas says, but what's the committee? What's the committee think? Is that a 21-point
considering
win?
That 2 games ago they were listed as 5, now they're 4. You know, that says quite a bit.
But didn't the number 1 team I thought lost also, or one of the top 2 teams lost a couple weeks ago, so that dropped them and elevated Ohio State.
Yeah, so. Any way you look at it, this was a style points game for the most part. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to mean a whole lot for the standings. Otherwise, the effort that they put out, you know, you got to consider that Stroud is he's going to make a good quarterback, and if they can keep him there for a couple of years, somebody else can come up through the ranks.
Stroud's not the problem. It's the defense. And it's not the defensive line either. It's the linebackers and defensive backs. The defensive backs are doing okay, but the linebackers seem to be out of position way too much. And that can't happen if we expect to have good linebackers. We haven't had really any great linebackers come out in like 5 years from Ohio State.
Yeah, well, I personally don't think that that Purdue game really meant a whole heck of a lot. I think the 2 games that you're going to see the grit are coming up. And I hope, it always seems that more Michigan State than that team up north.
Yeah.
They always seem to have problems with them. And we've got them. I think we've got them next week, right?
Yeah,
Okay. We
next
actually
week.
play
Then
Michigan
we
State
played.
this week, and this could be an interesting game. I don't expect a 30 or 40 point deficit, although it could happen. I kind of think that it's probably going to be maybe 14. Well, we'll see what happens. It's going to. This is actually going to show the show what Ohio State's got. And the fact is, it's gone down to the last couple of games. Stroud has actually caught his stride as far as being decent. The offense seems like it's improved quite a bit over the
And as
first
we've
couple
talked
of
about
games.
the last couple of weeks, that Smith and Jigma, he has been very impressive. Out of all the receivers, I think he's the best receiver on this team, and he's a true freshman.
Yeah, well, we're going to see. I think I think the future is in pretty decent condition for Ohio State as a whole. I think they're going to be a powerhouse for years to come.
I mean, between wide receivers incoming and already on this team, and then Trevion Henderson, the running back, this offense has a chance to be unstoppable. But the thing is, what's this defense going to do? What the defense needs to develop, and unfortunately, a lot of the defenders from the 2019 class specifically, linebackers specifically, are not showing any progress at all. So, what does that tell you? That their coach isn't developing them well. He's not teaching them what they need to develop.
Well, then who do you think is in charge of that? Do you think it's the defensive coordinators? Do you think it's the position coaches?
That I'm aiming that at the position coach.
And what are you gonna do if they're not? They can only do so much.
Well, fire them and bring somebody else in, because clearly
in the middle of the season you're gonna fire them.
No, I'm at this point wait till the off season.
When you were stating the coaching changes, that ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen until the season's over. When it's over, they'll reevaluate everything like they should, and there will be likely be changes. But until that happens, you're not going to change stuff at the last third of the season. That's just not going to happen. I don't see it anyway.
I don't. Well, usually you don't fire a position coach unless there's a scandal mid-season. If it was a coordinator, which we'll talk about specifically with the Browns later, and who should be fired, that can work. Elevating a position coach to temporary defensive coordinator, that works. But usually you can't fire a position coach and elevate somebody to position coach mid-season.
Well, unless you're in the midst of a scandal or you're in the midst of losing that needs to stop. You don't make coaching changes in the middle. That just ruins what little chemistry and initiative that you've got.
And also, I think they really need to start realigning the way they do their coaching staff, like I was saying pre-show, they need to stop doing the co-assistant coaches. Not, have a main assistant and then assistant to the position coach. Don't have a co-defensive backs coach. Like Jeff Hathley and Kerry Coombs, for example. Don't have one of them have the title and then one of them be the assistant, or have a grad assistant that you can elevate to assistant defensive backs coach. Don't have the two guys have equal footing or equal voice in that position room, because they could be contradicting each other and screwing up the player's development.
Not if they're all on the same page and communicating. You're going to have coaches meetings too. Everybody's going to get on this. Hopefully, get on the same page with.
Yeah.
And the problem with some of these teams is their coaching staff doesn't understand what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
probably what happened to that defensive coordinator with Ohio State in the first 3 or 4 weeks. He wasn't on the same page as everybody else was, and that hurt him when they made those changes. As far as the co-coordinators or
position coaches,
co-position coaches, I don't see any problem with that, because that's going to do is it's going to give each of those players an extra, especially if they're trying to learn, it's going to give them a trainer to help them learn. And that's what those positions do. They're more or less of a trainer than a coach. And what they normally do like that is if you got 6 or 8 people in that position, you can split them up with 3 and 3 and then vary them around, and each one's going to get the experience and benefit from the other coaches or the other coach. So I don't see any problem with that. I never have. The more knowledge and game preparedness you got, the better.
I guess if you had one coaching the corners and one coaching the safeties, that would make sense, because that one person could focus on that one half of the defensive backfield and really get in depth on what the mistakes are and how to fix them. But I don't know.
And it's in Ohio State's position. There's not a whole lot you can say about them at this point. They're doing fairly well.
True.
I kind of got a feeling that if they don't get at least another position up, if they don't move to 3, they're going to end up playing Georgia. They're going to end up playing Georgia in the whatever bowl they make, and that or if they do make the playoffs for the top 4, that they're going to end up playing Georgia, and they're likely going to get a smackdown.
Oh yeah, I think whoever they would play in the top.
Right now, I think Georgia's the best team in the league.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they just have way more talent. I mean, Tennessee tried to play, equal to them, and they ended up beating them by 30.
Yep. If you'd like to call in and give us your opinion, we have the phone lines open. It's the phone number is 440-372 4688. That's 440-372-4688. If you want to give us a call and let us know what you think, you're welcome. I will ask you to keep it brief, and we'll probably answer you on the air after your question. But we'll see. Let's move on to my favorite subject. Are you ready for that?
Yes, and I'm just sharing out. So hopefully more people are seeing us now.
It's
this will be worth every view.
It's time to talk about the good old Cleveland Browns.
Yes, that train wreck of a game yesterday. I know they were without Nick Chubb and they were without Kareem Hunt, but that injuries are no excuse for playing like dog crap.
Did you ever watch the reality TV show Bar Rescue?
Yes.
With John Tapper.
Yeah.
His famous and absolute famous quote that I use every chance I get is I don't embrace excuses. I embrace solutions. What you just gave me there was an excuse. I'm done with excuses with the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
They are supposed to be a playoff team. They've got more talent on paper than they could ever pray for. And yet they pull a game like yesterday. They go unprepared. They have the worst play calling on defense I have seen since Hugh Jackson. Yeah. And they expect everybody to watch that garbage. You know, Cleveland Browns, wake up. That's all I'm going to say. Wake the hell up. Your fans are wanting to see a team that you have yet to put on the field and give us the wins that we want and give us a damn Super Bowl. Every year it's the same crap. Oh, we're going to make the Super Bowl this year. We're going to do it. We're going to make the Super Bowl. Yeah, let's make the damn Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, we're going to play so well the Super Bowl is going to be easy to get to.
If Stefanski had any guts or whatever word you want to fill in there, he would have fired Joe Woods. He would have told him, you're not welcome on the flight back. Have fun finding a ticket back to Cleveland or wherever you want to go, because you're no longer employed by this team because you don't deserve it. You're the worst play caller defensively, and personally, I don't understand how we're one of the top-ranked defenses in the league, but if I were Stefanski, I would have told him you're not welcome on the flight back and you're not welcome back in the building because you don't deserve to be a defensive coordinator. And he proved that when he was defensive coordinator with the Broncos after he was fired after a year and a half.
I know. So I am going to tell you, I watched that game until I got virtually sick of it. I'm a Browns fan through and through. I still like Stefanski, but my God, what do you expect us to watch? That game was horrible. If you don't believe me, read some of the social media about yourself. Everybody's going on. I want to start a motion. I want to start a movement here. And if you are listening to this program and can get to Facebook, YouTube, wherever, Twitter, give us a comment and hashtag it, No More Excuses Browns. This is absurd. They're 10 games through. They were supposed to only lose 3 to 4 games for the whole season, according to Vegas in the beginning. What happened? This is garbage that you're putting on the field. Absolute garbage.
No kidding. Garbage is an understatement.
If you don't want to play for us, then be an Odell Beckham. Go somewhere else and play. Because we want to watch a winner.
Well, I mean, and not helping your sad excuse for a quarterback and his wife can't stay off social media and stop causing drama for the, weekly posts about, trying to fight with fans. Come on, grow the hell up, Baker and Emily, or get out of town. Grow up or get out. I'm done.
I'm not even getting into that. There is issues there, and the issues need fixed. And this isn't. I blame the defense for the biggest part of it. But
I do too.
The offensive play calling was sucky too, and nobody made any arrangements to try to adjust anything. If I was in that, if I was in Stefanski's shoes, that halftime, I would have been in there. I would have reamed them.
Mm-hmm.
I would have reamed them up one side and down the other. You can't play like this. You just can't play like this.
But even with Myles Garrett coming out and saying, I don't know if you saw post game.
Oh yeah, I saw all of that with what he was saying.
He said, we didn't make any adjustments. Huh? Whose fault is that? I wouldn't even blame Stefanski. I would blame Joe Woods because Stefanski.
That's all. It's that way on the defensive side, but it's not that way on offense.
Well, yeah, I mean that. It's Stefanski offensively.
You got an offensive coordinator that probably didn't do any changes either.
Well, the problem is Stefanski is the offensive coordinator. He does both head coach and offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, Van Pelt, is just a puppet. He's just a figurehead for Stefanski to march out there weekly and sit in front of the microphones to get criticism. Well, Stefanski is sitting at his desk, doing whatever he does. I don't know what he does, but he's just a figurehead he's just a human punching bag for Stefanski when Stefanski screws up.
Well, there again, I'm not gonna. I don't really want to talk about the. Other than what we've already covered, I don't want to talk about the stuff that'll really tick me off. And that's the stuff that really.
That makes for a good show, though.
It doesn't really need to be on here.
Oh.
But when it comes down to it, I think that there needs to be some real changes there in that club. And until they make the changes, it's not gonna, it's all gonna be status quo. They're using the excuses. Oh, we don't have all our players aren't here. We had 3 players come back on defense this week. What happened there? Huh?
But wait, you need a couple weeks to get the chemistry back. You can't just expect everybody to be on the same page, right? You can tell I'm mocking, but
Eric, you mock people?
Yeah. Okay.
Surely you just.
but just the excuses that whether the team makes or fans make. I mean, stop with the no excuses. Hashtag no excuses, Browns. Let's get it trending.
Yep. I agree. So if you are listening to this show and you want to help us out, get on Facebook, get into anything that is Browns related, and just type the words hashtag no more excuses Browns. We need to get them to listen to this. Do you think that owner is going to want no more excuses Browns showing up everywhere he looks at whenever he looks at his team? And it's time. It really is time. I've watched this team for going on, almost 55 years. I've watched them since 1965. And every year it's the same thing. Well, maybe next year they got hurt. No, they are having issues with this. And no more excuses. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to come on that football field and play a game. The least you can do is put a little effort into it. That yesterday was no effort. There was no effort at all. Anyway, let's now that we've completely destroyed them, what else can we talk about that's a little lighter?
Well, I mean, the Cavs, I don't know, they're the best team in Cleveland right now.
They've actually got a better record than LA does.
I know. I'm actually going to the game Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, against Golden State. I'll be there.
Sweet. Oh, Golden State, that's going to be a good game.
I know. I mean, I have a feeling the Cavs won't pull it off, but hey, it'll be at least a close game, unlike the Browns.
What do you think about where Odell ended up?
No surprise, because even if he flames out, he'll just go into Hollywood and go into acting.
Yeah.
I think that's his main plan. He's all about his brand. He could boost his brand a lot higher up in LA than he can in Cleveland. So he fits LA. LA fits him. Good riddance. I have nothing more to say.
Yeah. I don't think he would have made any difference in what happened yesterday anyway. The thing that kind of bothers me about that whole situation is Cleveland got squat for him. They just let him go. You didn't even get anybody to fill the position, which to me is just wrong. You should be allowed to bring somebody, maybe bring somebody up from the practice squad, and then let them refill the practice squad spot.
Yeah.
But the way that they got nothing for him.
I mean, they chose that. They replaced his roster spot with a different position. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Then this letter that he sent to Cleveland fans. Give me a break. That was laughable. Oh, I appreciated all the dog pound, and I appreciated the coaches, and thank you for letting me have this opportunity to work there. Give me a break. You don't want to come here to begin with.
No. I mean, the first year he was here, the GM came out and said, I'll just be happy if he practices 1 day a week. Yeah, okay. That tells me everything you need to know. That if you're trading for a guy that in the off season you hope will only practice 1 day per week out of 5, that tells me everything what that player's about what that player's about. Clearly he's not about team. He just wants to be his brand. He just wants to boost his brand.
I'm looking for the letter that he wrote to Cleveland fans. All right.
But yeah, I mean it's almost not even worth reading because
and the way I'm looking at it is that's all over with, and that to me is just a waste of time. He didn't fit in here. There's nothing else that could have happened. But anyway, getting back to the basketball side of this, and as far as the Cavs go, I think they've got a ways to go yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think stuff is getting better. They're definitely better than they were this time last year.
Oh yeah, they are. That rookie Mowgli, I think he's going to be a really good player. He's the best player on the team now, and that's 10 games into his career or whatever it is. So if he keeps developing, I mean, he could be once LeBron goes, I think Mowgli will be one of the top 5 players in the league.
To be honest about it, I think there's a thing called the eye of the tiger that is an old, that actually was a reference in an old Rocky movie.
Mm-hmm.
And to me,
and then it's now at home.
I think LeBron has lost that eye. I think he's turned his eye to Hollywood and didn't have much success there. I saw the other day that his basketball movie is actually showing on the on-demand stuff now, which is, I think there are things that you can get it for free on. And I think until he leaves, he's not. I just don't think he's got the eye anymore. And I think
he's lost. He's lost everything because he's too focused on politics. And this isn't a political show.
Politics and everything else. He was commenting on that Rittenhouse.
Yeah. Rittenhouse,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is more politics than I want to get into.
Yeah, I don't really actually know what happened. I just kind of know the fallout from that. So, but yeah, he needs to stop. I don't want to go as far as the whole Laura Ingraham shut up and dribble thing, because, yeah, he does have a right to...
he has a right to express his opinion,
but
it just seems
don't use the... Do it off the court. And when I say off the court, not pre-game, not post-game, not in the arena. Off team grounds, do whatever you want. If you want to do it on Twitter, social media, whatever, that's fine with me. Do not do it in front of the cameras, which is exactly what they want to do. You know, they don't want to just do it on Twitter or something. But they need to realize that that's turning people away. That's turning a ton of people away from the NBA.
Well, you know, all these sports teams have a tendency to do that anymore. When you start getting involved in social media, and you can, as far as the politics and stuff like that, these guys think they're bigger than life, and they're really not.
They think they're God.
And they're really not. And
I know.
And it's time to, play your sport. Do the best you can in your sport. Don't try to get into politics. You're not cut out for that. But anyway, I guess we can take and do a quick start talking about the upcoming games.
Sure.
Or what do you think about 0-8 Detroit in their tie?
Well, that we can get into in a minute. The fact that they can tie and no other sport lets you. But that was an amazing game. An amazing job by Detroit to somehow almost beat Pittsburgh in that game. If it wasn't for the Detroit kicker missing a kick with 4 minutes to go in overtime, the Steelers would have lost.
Well, you've had 2 or 3 games in the last, 3 weeks now that were games that you just go, my God, what the heck happened?
Mm-hmm.
Other than Cleveland. You had that game with New York, the Jets versus
Bengals.
The Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bengals actually getting beat there. You had, I know, it was the Jets and Buffalo. Buffalo got beat by the Jets, and nobody expected that to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Then you had the Cincinnati game. Then you had the Cleveland game this last week. you had Miami beat, and this was I just wish I would. There's a couple of things I wish I would have just sat and watched. The Thursday night game is last week with Pittsburgh and that was it Washington? Yeah, it was Washington. Did you see that play that where that oh you did because you actually sent me the footage on it on that referee.
No, that was Chicago. That was Pittsburgh and Chicago, where the Tony Correnti, the ref, hip checked the guy from Chicago
and with
threw
a
a
smile
flag
on his face went, "Yeah, flagged him."
Yeah. I mean, even former Browns quarterback Brandon Whedon's like, yeah, this ain't the only time this has happened. This happens all the time, where the refs will kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Put on good acting jobs and then throw a flag on a player, even though the ref is the one who instigate. That's the word. The ref will instigate something.
He said the ref said that, I was going to flag him for taunting anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you hip checked him, then you threw the flag.
You know,
so,
what ought to happen here? There needs to be more regulation of these refs. I've said that for years. These refs are responsible for fair game. And that the games aren't fair.
No.
When you got a ref what they need to do is put time limits on the time that they're allowed to throw the flag. That would remedy a lot of this. Not all of it, but a lot. If you see something you're going to throw a penalty for, you've got 10 seconds to throw that flag or keep it in your pocket.
It's like they have with instant replay, where if the team runs a play, you can't go back and review.
Once the next play is that's always been that way. With instant replay. Once the next play is conducted, then they can't go back and look at the other play. They're not allowed.
I think there's only been one time where that's happened.
Yeah.
That was a historic day for all the wrong reasons in Cleveland. But Bottlegate, that was the anniversary of that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, they need to do something. The problem is there's these experienced refs that are going to get away with it unless they get rid of them and go with all younger refs. And I don't think they can do that.
I don't know what the solution to any of that is. The simple fact of it is they shouldn't be allowed to come along minutes later and throw a flag unless it's an unsportsmanlike conduct. And that needs to have just happened. If they're on a sideline and see somebody getting pushed around or whatever, then the unsportsmanlike flag comes out. But this crap about waiting 2 or 3 minutes before you throw a flag, like what had happened in that instance, that guy supposedly was taunting the other side by walking towards them and all that.
Yeah.
And the ref never flagged it. It wasn't until he got hip checked, which he did himself, that the flag came out. And you could see him. He had his hand on that flag the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just waiting for something he could do that for. And then he all accidentally bump into you. Yeah, right.
So when it comes to penalties, though, one thing that I think they should enforce in the NFL that they don't is the targeting that they do in college football.
Yeah.
Where, if you're helmet to helmet, they obviously review it most of the time.
Well, the helmet to helmet stuff gets flagged for unsportsmanlike anyway.
But should that, It's not an ejection, though. I don't think.
I think the most egregious penalties are probably the the head-to-head contact and the face masking stuff. That I agree with that. If that's egregious, they could throw the player out.
Mm. I mean, in the Ohio State game, there was a face mask that the dude held on to the Ohio State player's mask, and yanked him. You can see his neck literally snap halfway, almost backwards, facing the other way.
I agree.
I mean, there has to be something done about it. I don't know what, but something has to be done. And I don't think they will, because the league won't do anything about it. But I think something does need to be done, and done quick. But also, just a quick thing, I think with all these injuries, I think the CBA is actually holding these players back because they're only practicing once, and I think these coaches are making up injuries for some of these guys just to give them the day off. Or, some of these soft tissue injuries are injuries that they can practice with, but it's a Veterans Day off. They're not, they're hurt, but they can fight through it. Or those are injuries that players back in the day when the CBA wasn't as strict, players played through. I mean,
well, there is other ways to get around these, and then the league's going to have to do something with that.
I mean, they need to mandate, the owners need to come up with something and mandate that the players are required to practice 2 days a week in order to be able to play.
Well, it used to be that way. I don't know who sets that actual rule. Sometimes I remember in the past where if you didn't practice Thursday and Friday on the Browns, you didn't play. And
well, that's either the coaching staff or the union.
Yeah.
And of course, the union head is, a Browns player, so he's gonna make sure nothing is being stretched.
Yeah, that's at center. Was it Treader?
Treader.
Yeah, Jesse Treader. All right, we got 7:45 here, so I want to go through the picks for the week, and then we need to wrap this up.
Yep.
And first up is good old the Cleveland Slaughterhouse against Atlanta, and that's New England against Atlanta this coming Thursday. Thursday.
New England by a lot. I was impressed by Jones. Unfortunately, I could only listen on the radio because my satellite was out. Fortunately, but unfortunately for the Browns game yesterday, because of the weather, my satellite was out, so I could only listen to the game.
I don't know. That's going to be a tough game. I think I'd take Atlanta.
I don't know about Matt Ryan. If he's healthy and receiver-wise, who does he have? So I guess Patriots, after hearing what they did to the Browns and seeing highlights, I just can't pick against them. And knowing it's Bill Belichick.
Well, that's another reason. That's another reason for me to go against them. All right, let's move on here. New Orleans at Philly.
New Orleans.
Philly's getting halfway decent. I'll take New Orleans, I guess. Miami at the Jets.
Jets.
I don't know. Miami backed into a couple of wins. And I don't know.
Quick update. Cavs up over Boston as of a couple minutes ago, 34-23. But I will get an update for
I guess I'll take the Jets there. Well, let's go Washington at Carolina.
Carolina.
I'll take Washington on that one, just to be different. Indianapolis at Buffalo. That's going to be that'll be a close game there.
It'll be close, but Buffalo is Buffalo, so I have to pick Buffalo.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then a game we've all been waiting for. Detroit at Cleveland.
Cleveland.
You better say Cleveland.
Yeah, well, only because it's against Detroit and Detroit's a disaster. It's Cleveland.
All right, let's go. I think I'll take. I gotta take Cleveland, even though they disappointed me like they did. Let's go San Francisco at Jacksonville. That's easy.
San Francisco.
Frisco won that one. Houston at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I think I'll take Tennessee there too. Green Bay at Minnesota.
Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers. It's Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, moe. I'll take Minnesota just to be different. And then Baltimore at Chicago.
Baltimore. Hate them, but have to be a realist here.
It depends on who Chicago's quarterback is. Of course, then again, he's not sure. Justin Fields really isn't showing anything.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll take Baltimore there, even though I don't like the Ratbirds. Oh, this will be a good game. Cincinnati at Vegas.
Cincy.
Vegas. Vegas all the way. You'll be crying in your beer there next week over that one. I don't think
I have a lot of confidence in that.
They have East Coast teams always have trouble with West Coast. Arizona at Seattle.
Arizona.
Yeah, I think Arizona's going to take that too. The good old Dallas Cowboys against Kansas City.
Cowboys.
You think?
Yeah.
They've been having, it depends on that quarterback situation too. Dallas has had issues with that, with Prescott and that there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Took it away from me here. But I guess I'll take Dallas. Although Kansas City with Mahomes, but they're not doing as well as I thought. Pittsburgh against LAC.
Chargers.
Yeah, I gotta say the Chargers too. And then the Monday night game next week is the Giants against Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take Tampa Bay too. That will be a good game either way. Although from what I'm understanding, Gronkowski is hurt. I don't know how much of a difference maker he's going to be. Let me get the Thursday night game next week.
Okay. But while you're doing that, what do you think about ties, or how can they rectify that so there's not, less likely a tie?
Well, I know why they allow. There's a reason why they allow ties like that. I don't know. The Thursday night game, by the way, is the Bears versus the Lions.
Bears.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears too. Anyway, the reason for that is more for player safety than anything else. And it's like they've changed a lot of the overtime stuff around for. They don't want the players to get hurt. That's why, in a lot of it, they were even talking about starting from the 20-yard line on the first team that gets in for a touchdown wins. There's been a bunch of stuff that they've researched that just doesn't work in a game.
Well, I mean, it works in college.
But
they do that in college.
As far as the eliminating the ties, there ought to be wins in every game. And I can think Pittsburgh, for some reason, just loves to tie people.
I know.
They tied us once, a couple of years back.
What do you do, though? Do you maybe play
you're
like
just going to have to play till somebody wins. Just make it easy to do it.
Do you play a 5-minute quarter and then like a 5-minute overtime, and then say after that 5 minutes, each team get maybe from the 35-yard line, possession from the 35-yard line, whoever scores either field goal or touchdown first wins, or whoever scores a touchdown, even if the first team scores a field goal, then that puts pressure on the other team to score a touchdown. You do something like that.
Well, you can take this to pretty much any sport, Eric. They're talking about putting somebody on second base in baseball.
They did. They did that. Once it gets into the 10th inning, you get an automatic runner on second base.
And, is that fair?
No.
It's not in the context of the game. I don't know what they do, what they need to do with that. I don't think, personally, I don't think they should allow ties. But, there again, I don't make the rules. If I did, there would be some major changes in all of it. But, that's just my opinion. And our opinions expressed here tonight are those of mine and Eric's, and not anywhere the opinions of Crooked River Radio or its people or networks. I had to do that little disclaimer because of the stuff we said about the Browns earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know what they wanted, you should do with it, other than just say no.
Yeah.
And they've got to come up with a suitable way around it that's fair for everybody. You don't put a ball on the 35-yard line and tell them they can't kick a field goal.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, each team starts at the 35, first team to score a touchdown, no matter if that first team kicks a field goal, that they don't win, but that puts the pressure on their defense. See how the defense deals with pressure. If it was the Browns defense, they would give it up because, they gave up 3 90-plus yard possessions yesterday. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, you're not bitter over that.
No, that I was going to make a lot of the show about that, but I decided not to.
That's probably
Especially the flipping 99-yard drive that they gave up 79 yards of it and then gave up a field goal. But still, and for some reason I knew they were going to do that too. Like,
well, I knew when they scored that only touchdown. I thought, man, this ain't gonna last. Not against Bill.
No.
And I hate to see that mumbler win.
And it's McDaniels too. I don't know what it is about McDaniels, but he knows how to win. He knows how to call the right offense. He knows how to call every play right, and no matter what situation. Because I remember he made Matt Castle look like a MVP back in 2008. Then Castle went to Kansas City and bombed.
Well, you got the same thing with him. Belichick made Mac look like Brady.
Well, yeah, I don't even give Belichick that. It's McDaniels is the one who. Belichick is more defensive than offense. Yeah. It's McDaniels who's the one calling the plays and quarterback coach and everything else. Yeah. I mean, we know how he's not going to work. He'll never work out as a head coach, and players hated him as a head coach. I don't know why, but I've heard a few former players say they wish they never played for him as a head coach because he was not good.
All right, we need to wrap this up. So I think it's
okay. Well,
about that time.
Quickly to do promos for other podcasts on Crooked River. Tomorrow from 7 to 8, World According to Elmer with Jerry Sorensen and Pat. Saturday, 4 Guys on Sports with Sean, Gordon, Nate, and Pat. Sunday from 7 to 9, Radioactive with Pat, Flora, Dale, Pat, and the wait, I said Pat.
You.
Me. Yeah, I know who's a part of the show.
And John Brown,
yeah.
Dale Miracle, me, Flora, and you.
And the rest of the crew.
And the crew.
Whoever. Yeah.
And we got quite a crew there.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we will go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you get a chance, if you like what you heard here, give us a like on Facebook, or give us a subscribe on YouTube if you're watching us.
Also, if you get a chance, Crooked River is a 24/7 internet radio station that plays hits from the 60s to the 80s. You can listen to Crooked River on crookedriverradio.com, Live 365, Radio Garden, all Roku devices, and other platforms, but those are the main ones.
Yeah, we're even on the internet radio. I think it's Internet Radio Digest. It has all the internet radio stations on it. We just joined them there. Anyway, we will catch y'all next week. Have a good, blessed week, and go Browns.
Yeah.